Welcome, students and future leaders, to an uncompromising truth about achievement, growth, and academic success. We are diving deep into the one force that separates those who succeed from those who fail: discipline. This message is not about waiting for inspiration to strike while you stare blankly at your textbook. It is about the reality of learning to take control of yourself in the moments when excuses scream the loudest. Discipline is often misunderstood. It is not a sudden, exciting feeling. It is simply the act of forcing yourself to do what must be done, even when you don't want to. If you rely solely on motivation, that unpredictable wave of temporary energy, you will always fall short. If you wait until you feel ready, you risk waiting forever. Discipline is the decision you make every single day, especially when the task feels hardest, like studying late, starting that difficult project, or simply standing up when the alarm first rings. This process of forcing yourself into discipline is precisely what allows you to change every area of your life. Chapter 1: Face your laziness directly and refuse to negotiate. You can deceive the whole world, but you cannot deceive your conscience. The worst thing you can do to yourself is refusing to telling yourself the truth. Call a spade a spade. Laziness often describes a lack of desire or will to engage in tasks that require effort. It implies a resistance to putting in the necessary work to complete something, or a state of being slow-moving or lacking energy. Let me remind you, the path to academic success demands a confrontation. Discipline is not something you stumble upon, nor does it arrive neatly at your door. It is something you must actively confront and force into your life when everything inside of you would rather avoid it. For students, this often means confronting the insidious pull of laziness. That whisper that says, "You deserve a break," or "one more episode won't hurt," is the voice you must learn to stand up against and refuse to negotiate with. If you negotiate with laziness even once, it will win the argument every single time. Laziness is the master of excuses. It will always have another reason ready for you to delay the necessary action. Laziness, particularly in the student environment, has a clever way of disguising itself. It doesn't always show up as simply doing nothing. Sometimes, it manifests as endless scrolling through your phone. Sometimes, it looks like busy work that keeps you from tackling the assignment that truly matters. Perhaps it is over-organizing your notes 5 times instead of actually reviewing the core concepts. This is how laziness wins. It fools you into believing you are doing enough when, in reality, you are avoiding what is difficult. Remember this truth: progress is always found in what is difficult. The things that push you, the complex problems that demand your focus, those are the things that shape you into a person of discipline. We must learn to see laziness for what it truly is: the enemy of your future. Every time you choose comfort over necessary action, you are training your mind to obey laziness. When your future demands focus, say, during an intense study session or a final exam, you will already be conditioned to quit. You may think you are only skipping one review session, but what you are really doing is building the habit of saying no to discipline. If you truly desire a better academic life, you cannot keep signing that contract with comfort. The reason so many students remain stuck is not due to a lack of knowledge or opportunity. It is because they negotiate with laziness. They wait until they feel motivated, until conditions are perfect, or until the motivation arrives. But those perfect feelings rarely come on command. Discipline begins when you act before you feel ready. You must recognize those comfort-seeking thoughts: "one skip day won't hurt," or "do it later," and shut them down before they become chains that keep you tied to the same results. If this message resonates with you, if you recognize the sneaky ways laziness tries to negotiate your progress, it's time to take control. We are committed to bringing you the most actionable wisdom for growth and self-mastery. If you find this content valuable for your academic journey, please show your support immediately. Take a moment right now to hit that like button, share this video with a study partner who needs this reminder, and, if you haven't already, subscribe to ensure you don't miss our next lesson in personal power. Your support helps us continue these vital conversations. Chapter 2. Take small actions immediately to train instant response. Discipline is not built in giant leaps or sudden, massive decisions. It is created in small actions taken at the exact moment they are needed. Every time you delay, every time you wait, you weaken your ability to respond to life's demands. The secret to real discipline is learning to act immediately, to move as soon as the thought enters your mind, without hesitation. Think about how many academic opportunities pass you by simply because you paused. You felt the urge to start researching that essay, but waited a little longer, and then skipped it altogether. You knew you needed to write down that crucial idea, but convinced yourself it could wait, and then you forgot. These small moments, while seemingly harmless, slowly condition your mind to ignore your own direction, teaching it that hesitation is acceptable. Immediate action is powerful because the human brain is a master at creating reasons to stop. Within seconds of contemplating a hard task, your mind creates a list of arguments against it: you're too tired, or, it's not urgent right now. But those arguments only appear when you wait. If you act before your brain has time to debate, you win. You cut off the excuses before they take shape. This is how you train the skill of instant response. Start with something simple. As soon as your study alarm rings, stand up immediately, not after checking your phone. That is a small action, but it builds a strong lesson: I control my response. When you remember a small task, like emailing your professor or organizing 5 minutes of files, do it right then. You may think small actions are too insignificant to matter, but they are the seeds of change. Picking up a challenging book today trains the same discipline that will help you start a massive capstone project tomorrow. Discipline is not just about grand goals, it is about teaching yourself that your actions follow your decisions. If you decide to do something and then act instantly, you are teaching yourself trust. That trust grows into confidence, confidence grows into consistency, and consistency builds a disciplined life. If you want to test yourself, try the 3-second rule. When you think of something necessary like starting your homework, count down from 3, and then move. 3, 2, 1, move. That simple technique removes hesitation and forces you to build a new reflex: act now. Chapter 3. Control your thoughts before they control your decisions. The greatest battles of discipline are fought inside the human mind. Every disciplined action you take begins first as a thought. If you do not control what goes on in your head, your life will be led by impulses and excuses. Most people underestimate how much their thoughts influence their study habits and their grades. The student who constantly tells themselves they will never improve eventually stops trying. The person who constantly thinks they will fail the exam does not even begin to study effectively. Thoughts are not harmless, they are the seeds of every decision, and every decision builds your future. When you are unaware of your thoughts, your mind becomes a playground for negativity. One negative thought leads to another, and soon you are filled with excuses: I am too tired, or I am not capable of understanding this material. If you allow these destructive thoughts to sit, they will shape your actions, causing you to avoid what is hard and settle for less than you are capable of. The good news is you can take back control. The first step is awareness. Most students live on autopilot, assuming their thoughts are facts, when in reality, they are often just fears, opinions, or echoes of past experiences. You must stop and examine your thoughts. Is this thought leading me forward or holding me back? The second step is replacement. You cannot simply wish a negative thought away, you must replace it with a constructive one. If your mind screams, "I can't pass this test," you replace it with, "I may struggle, but I can learn and improve." If your mind says, "I don't feel like starting," you replace it with, "I will begin now because starting creates momentum." The ultimate goal is to create a voice inside you that you trust completely. A voice that gives clear, firm direction and expects obedience. We are halfway through mapping the blueprint for unstoppable discipline. By now, you should recognize that your internal dialogue and your ability to act instantly are more critical than any burst of motivation. If you are learning how to replace weakness with strength, please let us know. Comment below and tell us one small action you will commit to taking immediately today. Your comments help build this community of intentional action. Don't forget to hit like and share this essential guide with those in your classes, and if you haven't subscribed yet, join our growing community of focused achievers now. Chapter 4: Force repetition until your brain accepts new behavior. Human behavior, especially study habits, is built on patterns. Whatever you do repeatedly, whether it is procrastinating or practicing, becomes easier to do again. The way you rewire your brain for disciplined studying is through deliberate repetition, forcing yourself to repeat the behavior again and again until it feels normal. At first, repeating a new habit like waking up earlier to study or reviewing notes every evening feels uncomfortable and exhausting. But repetition changes what your brain accepts as familiar. What was once unnatural becomes routine. The key is consistency, not intensity. Doing one massive study session and then stopping for a month does not rewire anything. Doing something small every day does. For instance, reviewing 2 pages of notes daily is more powerful than reading 100 pages once a month. The brain learns through rhythm, through the daily act of repeating, not through random bursts of effort. You must force yourself through the stage where the new behavior feels unnatural, through the stage where it feels uncomfortable, until you break through to the stage where it feels automatic. This is where discipline becomes real, doing the action even when you do not see instant results yet. If you quit too soon, the habit never has time to form. But if you give it enough consistent repetition, the roots grow deep, and soon the behavior belongs to you. You do not have to think about it anymore. It becomes part of your identity. Repetition also has a powerful secondary effect. It builds evidence for your mind. One successful day of scheduling proves you can direct your time. Each repetition is evidence that weakens self-doubt and strengthens belief. Eventually, the belief becomes so strong that the behavior is no longer forced, it is who you are. Chapter 5: Use pressure to act when comfort pulls you back. Comfort is a primary enemy of student discipline. It feels safe and familiar, whispering that you can delay the hard task like studying for finals until tomorrow. But comfort, unchecked, weakens your drive and lowers your standards. The only way to break its grip is to use pressure to create conditions that demand action. Pressure is often the tool that pulls out your best performance. Think about deadlines. How many times have you delayed an essay until the last moment and then suddenly produced hours of work in a compressed time frame? That pressure forced you to act. Discipline grows when you learn to apply pressure on yourself before your professors or life do it for you. One critical way for students to create pressure is through accountability. When you tell a study group or a trusted mentor about your commitment, you introduce a weight that pushes you forward. If you promise yourself you will review chapters, comfort may talk you out of it. But if you tell a friend, or share it publicly, for example, on a study vlog or social media. Be careful of the distraction, you feel pressure to follow through. Another method is utilizing deadlines. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. Give yourself firm, strict deadlines for drafting chapters or practicing problems. Even better, shorten your deadlines. This urgency forces you to cut distractions and prioritize what matters most. Pressure also comes from raising your standards. When you accept mediocrity, a passing grade achieved with minimal effort, comfort wins easily. But when you demand more from yourself, you introduce the pressure to perform at a higher level. This is not about perfection, it is about refusing to settle. Finally, utilize the pressure of visualizing the cost of comfort. Ask yourself, what will my academic life look like if I continue choosing ease over effort? Picture the piled up work, the stress of last-minute cramming, and the regret that builds over years. That emotional pressure reminds you that every choice has a consequence, driving action stronger than motivation ever could. Chapter 6. Direct your energy only toward tasks that truly matter. Every student wakes up each day with a limited supply of focus and energy. That energy can be directed toward building a meaningful education or wasted on distractions that lead nowhere. Discipline is not just about forcing yourself to act, it is about making sure your actions are directed toward the tasks that truly matter. Many students feel drained and unfulfilled because they scatter their energy. They spend hours reacting to social media messages, worrying about other people's study habits, or chasing trivial tasks that make them feel busy but not productive. At the end of the day, they are exhausted, yet nothing important like completing the core paper or mastering a difficult concept has been built. This is the trap of indirect energy. Effort without focus is wasted effort. The discipline that changes your life comes from saying no to the unimportant and yes only to the essential. The first step is clarity. You must know what truly matters. What are the few actions that will create the biggest results in my grades, my health, or my skills? One of the strongest strategies is to identify your top 3 tasks each day. These are the non-negotiable actions that align with your long-term educational goals. Complete these before anything else. Too many students fill their mornings with small distractions and then wonder why they have no energy left for the heavy work. Discipline means flipping that pattern, doing the important first and leaving the trivial for later. This also requires boundaries. Discipline is not just about what you do, but about what you refuse to do. Every time you say yes to something meaningless like an unnecessary meeting or a gossip session, you are saying no to meaningful study time. You must protect your focus like it is your most valuable resource. You must learn to recognize false productivity like endless organizing or over-researching instead of acting. The disciplined student asks constantly, is this moving me forward? If the answer is no, they redirect immediately. The disciplined life is not built by luck or by waiting for motivation, it is built by winning the internal battles of impulse and comfort every day. Discipline is the foundation of progress. It is the practice of consistently choosing the pain of effort over the temporary comfort of relief. When you learn to act, regardless of feelings, you become unstoppable. We have shown you the code: confront laziness, act immediately, control your thoughts, use repetition, apply pressure, and direct your energy only toward the essential. This is how you create the freedom and consistency that leads to a successful academic life. Now, the choice belongs to you. Do not wait for the perfect feeling. Act now. Finally, for the last time, please engage with this content. We need your help to spread this critical student code of discipline. Hit the like button, leave a thoughtful comment below about the single biggest distraction you will eliminate today, share this video widely with your student peers, and most importantly, subscribe to join our journey. Thank you for watching.